All right, let's talk about the second most interesting Penn State sports fandom happening. I think would be the best way to say what's happened in the last 2 weeks. Number one being the second topic that we'll get to. So we're gonna let's start with the talent fee, but don't call it that because that's not allowed. What we're allowed to call it. It's definitely not that. It's a hold on. It's no. This is not a talent fee. Player talent fee. The purpose of the Legacy Fund is to provide resources for student athlete scholarships and a commitment to ensuring Penn State's 23 athletic facilities remain some of the best venues in the nation. The whole reason why Penn State had to do this Legacy Fund, as we are supposed to call it, is because they have to pay players because they deserve money for their talents. And I don't know. I have zero issue with the economics to this. I've already seen it in my bill for season tickets this year. I have zero issues with the $20 per ticket, and then a $45 fee for a season parking pass. Okay. So that shakes out to what, $5 a game, and a little less than or a little more than $5 a game, and then like I said, less than 1% raise on ticket prices, basically. I think I just have an issue with beating around the bush and not being direct, and for whatever reason, being clever with the PR about it, more so than anything else. Because I think as the population gets older, that might particularly doesn't necessarily agree with the whole paying athletes and things like that. My generation, younger generations, are more welcoming, more excited about that, more open about that. Call it what it is, and maybe they're doing it for legal purposes so they don't get sued or something like that. But it's just that irked me more than anything else. In that situation, zero issue with the fee, 100% issue with how they PR it, I guess would be the best way to say that.
Yeah, and I think the concern about any legal action, I mean, maybe not concern. I think they just don't want to be that overt yet, right? Like you're not an SEC school. You don't want to say this is what you're doing. And yes, plausible deniability. You're going to support the facilities with some of this money. You're going to do whatever. I mean, realistically, you could call it whatever you wanted, right? You could call it Legacy Fund, Excellence Fund, whatever else, and you can put the money wherever you get it once you get it in unless they earmark it like they used to do for some stuff, and probably still do in a lot of cases. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the appetite. I think it's the perceived appetite of the consumer toward the messaging.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I think the other thing that I have a mild gripe with it is it in the press release. They're like, we're not raising season ticket prices, but I can't opt out of this to pay season tickets or buy tickets. I don't know. It's silly to start doing all these little different earmarks so that we can feel better about not raising season ticket prices, even though at the end of the day, my bill is going up by $105 when we've got 3 tickets and a parking pass on it. No issue with the fact that they didn't raise prices this year. And I think it would have been ridiculous if they would have raised prices this year, just with all the renovations and everything going on, and how probably, I think it's like 7,900 seats are going to be brought in. So 7,900 season ticket holders are going to be kind of screwed and over or displaced or moved around this season. Like it would not have been a good look to raise prices from that. But it's, again, I don't know. I don't know why we need to be coy about everything. I think anybody that is at minimum in terms of a knowledge level that is a season ticket holder knows what's going on in the NCAA space, in the college athletic space of all of these other issues. And that was where my gripes with it were. But again, I think it's also at the same time a very reasonable increase or a very reasonable ask that I have no issue with. I just wonder how many times can we go put a new legacy fund, a super legacy fund type thing further down the road? You only get so many shots at that.
Yeah, it's like the academic side of the house, right? With technology fees or
Yeah.
organizational fees, or what. Just make it a number. Don't make it look like you're nickel and dime people. Here's the number,
Right.
right? And you get all this as part of what you paid for, as opposed to, oh well, there's this add-on and this add-on, because that's the stuff that people don't, especially when you can't opt out. I mean, again, I think you're right. Most people don't care. Nobody's probably complaining for the most part, but it's not like it's an optional fee. So just, but it allows you to say you didn't raise ticket prices, right? It allows you to see it as something separate. It also allows somebody to start doing some math, right? Oh, if you have this many season ticket holders in this, you've raised this much money by it. So you got to be comfortable with somebody doing that math for you, and maybe being wrong about it, if they do. But nobody really will either, right?
Are we? Are we're the ones that would do the math?
I was gonna say there's 5 people, right? And we're 2 of them, right? So yeah.
No, and I think that's all fair. I had another thought there, but I forgot what it was. No, I think it's like I said. I think I wonder if they. I know what the thought was. I wonder if they positioned it this way or felt the need to position it this way because a year ago, a lot of people, myself included, were upset about everybody's donation fee going up $100, which was I think was reasonable because if you have, there's a family of 8 that sits next to us, that's $800 more that your tickets cost per season. Not that not that they can afford that, because they certainly paid it this year, but like. That's still $800. That's not a small amount. Yeah, I think as we progress more, I just don't have time for the silliness of all of this.
And I think people will start doing, hey, it's this much more. Hey, it's you're nickel and diming me, and just make it worth. There's going to be a value proposition at some point where people have to feel like they're getting more than just the games, or the games are worth that much. And I think anytime you're adding something on, as opposed to just rolling it in, it allows people to pick at that a little bit.